Cityscape Intelligence, the source of year-round business intelligence for the MENA region's real estate community.
Right, time for us to turn our attention to, a couple of topics that are very prevalent in the market at the moment. We've been talking all morning, Brendan, myself and the rest of the team, about the fact there's some big events coming back to town. It's great to see it. There's one next week, isn't there, Brandy?
There's a number. The Expo, would you be talking?
Expo's
the big one,
and that's hosting its first one, which I think is the WETEX and Dubai Solar Show.
There's a huge global environmental event that will be taking place under the Expo. A lot of things happening under the Expo umbrella. It is the Uber exhibition, if you like.
And all of them will sort of come together, whether they're up there at the Expo site or elsewhere. And more so than Cityscape, something to look forward to a little later on in the year. We're going to sort of preview or look ahead to that with some of the big talking points that can be expected to be discussed at Cityscape 2021. Joined on the line and also via Microsoft Teams this morning by the Managing Director of LWK Partners. Kerem Cengiz joins us live this morning. Kerem, always good to speak to you. Thanks very much indeed for your time.
Thank you, Tom. Nice to be here.
Yeah, nice to have you on board. Looking forward to Expo?
Very much so. It's been a long time coming, but I think it's going to be a really super event.
Ain't it just? As will Cityscape a little later on in the year. And a couple of platforms there that we've mentioned where we can discuss all things technology, and I suppose just marvel at some of the technological advancements that are available across all industries at the moment. One that we're going to focus on today is the rise of the smart home as well, specifically here in the Middle East. What are some of the sort of consumer trends that you're seeing in that field at the moment?
I mean, as a business that's sort of rooted its parent company back in Hong Kong and China, smart home technology is something that's almost de rigueur now. Ultimately, every property that's sold really is an integrated smart home solution that allows total control and integration into community networks and platforms, and also control and integration in the home environment. And I guess more importantly nowadays, it also allows for monitoring of health conditions and the monitoring of pandemic situations as well.
What prompts these changes at the moment? Is it the technology itself and the advancement therein? Or is it the consumer demands and trends that go, oh, you know what? I want to be able to answer my doorbell remotely from wherever I am in the world?
Tom, I think it's a combination of both. I think the prevalence of smart technology in the home has been around for some time, but there's not really a unified platform for full integration into a broader community network. So that integration is now improving. The cost of the technology is dropping, so it becomes much more accessible for everyday users. And developers are beginning to understand the value in terms of future management of communities of having systems like that and the convenience that it offers to the homeowner.
We've spoken a lot about the smart home and what the smart home might look like at the end of this year, the end of next year, and moving forward as well. How much of a part, and we're hearing about people cooking their dinner before they've even got home, etc., putting toast into the toaster, etc., but how much is sort of driven by and the demands of security within one's own home?
I mean, obviously issues of security are always prevalent in everybody's minds, and I think the security of the home, but also the security of the home environment. So a lot of us are parents, we have children, we have other lives to lead. Smart home technology now allows us to have much more integrated ways of managing our internal security, as well as that sort of sense of external security and peace of mind that you can be away and your property is being looked after. But I guess also security in the sense that the smart systems that exist now allow us to monitor health conditions in the home. So if you, for example, have an asthmatic child, you can also monitor the conditions of the air and adjust the purification of the filter levels in your AC system or purifiers remotely, depending on climatic conditions throughout the day.
Talk to us about the sort of geographical and geopolitical influence in this sphere that the UAE, but perhaps maybe the wider GCC region have. We mentioned already, haven't we, Expo 2020 and the fact that one of their main platforms will be innovation. How significant and influential is this part of the world in this field?
Look, I think, if we look at the broader context of technology and technology uptake, the UAE particularly and across the GCC and MENA region more broadly have been early adopters of technology. The prevalence of accessibility will make that integration, I think, very rapid, and I suspect by the end of this decade, smart homes will be a standard as opposed to a luxury.
Let's talk relationships if we can, because, traditionally we've seen relationships develop, especially when it comes to homes, residential office buildings, etc., between architects and designers coming together to provide. Now, of course, we've got developers in the mix as well. Is this a relationship we're seeing, or a collaboration that we're seeing develop very quickly at the moment, that between developer and architect?
I mean, the relationship's always been close. I think now the architecture and certainly in our own business, we're moving towards a more integrated approach to technology into everything we do. We've been an early adopter of smart technology for some time and have a sister company that delivers pure technology solutions. That becomes a more attractive offer to developers as they see the broader benefits and the long-term benefits, both in terms of attracting new owners to their portfolio, but also managing that large portfolio post-delivery of a development or a community. So the integration of technology into that chain is becoming increasingly more valuable for developers.
And just in terms of that, I mean, is it easier to integrate that technology from a blank canvas? I'm thinking about the fact that, we've got a number of new developments here, or recently built developments as well. Is it easier to do that than to retrofit old graded buildings?
It certainly is, Tom. I mean, ultimately, if you look at the leading nation in terms of smart technology, which really is China, and the massive expansion they're going through in their urban environments, they take a very early adopting attitude in terms of putting the infrastructure in and future-proofing that infrastructure from below ground upwards from day one, which means that as you plug in new developments, they're fully integrated and it causes less disruption and obviously longer-term savings for the government and also for individual developers and the contributions they need to make.
Just finally, we've got just under a minute left, Kerem, but give me that one example if you can. I know there are so many out there, but one of those wow examples of an element in a smart home of the future that could change our lives forever.
Look, I mean, you alluded to something earlier on in terms of having your meal prepared. I mean, we'll be showcasing a series of robots at Cityscape this year. One of them is a smart coffee robot, which allows you to make barista-level quality coffee, even doing all the coffee art, so very high level. But at a higher level, we also have a series of chef bots that really do allow you to fully program and prepare gourmet quality meals. And we'd be very happy to show you and the rest of the team around Cityscape when the time comes.
Well, we do like a coffee here on the Business Breakfast. It is rather essential. So, Kerem, we'll take you up on that one come Cityscape this year. That is Kerem Cengiz, who is the Managing Director of LWK Partners here, joining us live on the line and live via Microsoft Teams.